They're very good with long speeches. But would anything materialize? Something happens after this?
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head. So, um, in public affairs or public diplomacy, one of the things that's really important is if you are a stakeholder with multiple interest groups,
Mm-hmm.
it's important for you to engage everyone and often. Part of that engagement is not necessarily a transactional thing to say input is A and then output is B, I want
True.
something out of
True.
it. Part of it is just you have to be seen as doing it. Because as long as you keep the conversation going, something good will come out of it. You expose yourself to more serendipity, to more white swans that could result. But you're right. Sometimes the practical implementation is missing as a follow up. Um, I think that is something generally states in India have to be really wary of. Um, Often when they come to London, I've seen that it's an add on to other things that they're doing.
True.
It's not an entirely uh, focused trip as to why they're coming and who they want to meet, and it's often organized at the last minute. If I look at how other countries do it better, the trips will be organized many months in advance.
Mm.
There will be a recon team, a team of Sherpas that comes beforehand, meets everybody, and sets
Agenda now. Yeah.
sets the agenda, and in consulting speak sets the KPIs and the deliverables.
Brilliant.
Then the minister comes. So you've got a communications plan from when the Sherpas come to when the minister is there.
Yeah.
So people know why you're coming. Um, then you come and do all the meetings. And after that, there's a plan to do a follow up. So maybe some of the team come back a month later and meet those same people. So I think that's really important. I think that is something that uh, uh, governments where more professionals are part of the government. So, for example, in the UK or US, there's a lot of lawyers and finance people that are part of the government. When that is the case, it's much easier to do it in a structured way. India, often you don't have professionals who become politicians,
Mm.
it's more mass leaders. And the objective for a mass leader is to reach out to the masses. It's not necessarily to sit and get into the detail of particular policy.
True.
Um, and so I think that's a mindset change that does need to change, because that will open up far more opportunities for India
True.
to access talent and opportunities from outside.
Also, the states needs to understand their that I mean, it's not the responsibility of the federal government to bring business to the states. I mean, I know some of the southern states do that really well. They go and meet the people, starting from Chandrababu Naidu. You would have seen like a lot of international affairs and all
Hmm.
that stuff. And then in the recent times, we have seen Telangana doing a lot of work and all that stuff. And you just mentioned about some of the leaders that you brought in here. What I'm more interested in is basically when these people come to here, talk about like, do they really explore the finance world much that is needed? Because India is going to be the third largest economy very soon. How they're connected to the international affairs is very, very important now.
Hmm.
So it's not going to be only federal governments who should do it run, because India is a different kind of country, right? The 28 states, whosoever, everyone is strong enough. They can run their own business. So what do you think the change should come? Particularly, I'm more interested to understand what the state government should do.
Hmm.
uh, I mean,
Yeah,
if you
I
can.
I
Yeah.
think if a chief minister or a senior minister from a state comes to somewhere like London, London's strengths are not manufacturing businesses or
True.
chemicals businesses or businesses that make things. It's more of a services economy, financial services,
Financial
professional
services, yeah.
services, insurance, things like that, education. Um, I think there is a little bit of a mismatch with some of the
Mm.
visits that come. So many presentations that happen, the pitch is more about what the state wants to sell, not what somebody here wants to buy.
True.
And by what I mean by that is there's 30 or 40 slides on the tax incentives offered, etc.
Mm.
But often they're aimed at people who are not in the room in London, because those businesses simply would never be in a metro city. Not just London, but New York and other metro
True.
cities as
True.
well.
So true.
So I think uh, just the basic research of who your audience is and then tailoring your content to the audience, and understanding that the way let's say, a small business in England who is coming from the Midlands to London, they have very different requirements to a large business who is which is listed and have government affairs people already working for them. Those simple things like um, they don't understand lakhs and crores. So if you
Mm,
do slides which have lakhs and crores, it
true.
doesn't make any sense. Um, People respond to slides with pictures, not with uh,
Too much of content.
so much content in 30 or 40 slides because everyone falls asleep.
True.
Things like if you say that a meeting is 3 to 4 p.m., it is 3 to 4 p.m. because if somebody is coming from outside, they will have a train booked straight after.
True.
And if they miss that train, it's very expensive to then rebook yourself for another train. So I think some things like that are really important to understand. Some states do it really well.
Mm,
So this is not a kind of blanket comment. Um, but certainly states which are more in need of investment, they have a more steep learning curve, and they need to spend a little bit more time doing it. I find that if those ministers at the last minute come to the High Commission and say, organize something for us, the KPIs they set are wrong because the KPIs are, please fill the room for us with 2 days' notice.
mm,
That will frankly achieve nothing. There's no point even coming here. What will achieve something more is let's have a month to plan. Let's
true.
figure out who we want and why we want them,
True.
and specifically what can we give them that will make it worthwhile for them to first not go to another country but come to India, and then
Hmm.
secondly not go to another more developed state but come to our state.
True. So true.
So that competitive federalism is really important to come across in the pitch, and then the why India is also important. And the pitch for why India is not actually that India will be the third largest economy, because most businesses don't care about 1.5 billion people. Their target customers might be just 1,000 people or a
Hmm.
million people. Um, and so you need your pitch to be refined to that.
True.
The macro pitch actually is not relevant because somebody who can afford a 400 rupee Starbucks coffee in Delhi and somebody making 6,000 rupees a month in Patna, they're not the same market.
So true. So true. So understanding demographics and making sure your pitches, and I completely agree with you. Because I am from consulting and tax business as well. And I do see people coming back, and when I go to the rural world in India, I do see people thinking about just filling the rooms. It's never gonna matter
Mm.
because filling room with the required people and the right people is the key. And even if it is like three or four people, doesn't matter, right? That's the key stakeholders for
Correct.
you. So that's all you need to. I
But
clearly see where you're coming from.
but I understand why that happens as well, because the target audience for the pictures from that are not uh, the target audience isn't development metrics for the state. The target
Mm,
audience is the local media,
yeah.
and because India is a big place, you can easily fill a room.
True.
So here, if you only have 20 people in a room, it looks like you have not succeeded politically.
Okay.
And so I understand the need to fill a room.
Which is again a mindset thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a mindset thing, and it's about being able to communicate that story uh, more holistically back home to say it's not about quantity, it's about quality.
So true. So true.